Skips, we were going to go, What is it about this year, 2020? What are you excited about the most? Skippo?
T-Roy.
3,
2, 1. Let's go!
Welcome to PBE Live, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the destination in Midland, Texas, the heart of the Permian Basin, where you feel what's actually happening from the subsurface, where you smell what's happening from the subsurface. This is where innovation is born. This is where the PBE podcast was born, and we will always have a special place in our hearts for Midland, Texas, Skippo.
Oh, hell yeah. I was going to say, I'm not from here, but I experienced enough to say this is home. This is home for me.
It absolutely is home, man. And so the PBE podcast, when we started out, we were geologists in the oil and gas industry trying to figure out how do we unlock these reservoirs and make way more money than we spend. That's the point. It's got to be economic. It's got to make a lot of money.
Yep.
Then we started asking, we started going around fire pits, going around town, and we're asking these questions. You know, what's wrong with these anomalies? Why isn't it working as good as we thought it was going to work? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And
are these anomalies, right? We're seeing these things come up on every well, and we're just saying, hey, maybe this isn't just something that's, anomalous. Maybe this is actually part of the reservoir. Maybe this is something that we need to look into. Maybe this is something that we can unlock in order to increase production.
Yep. And so what happened was we started floating around with all these people, meeting amazing people, incredibly smart, incredibly talented people, and it was building a network. That's what we didn't realize in the beginning, was that a network, what it means is that it's basically new thoughts and actions combined for the first time to create something new. And we do it live. That's what we do in our shows. And we take it further than that because they're not interviews. It's a podcast. We're actually thinking about something for the first time in a very unique way, and we apply it to real-world applications. We apply it to how can this make a difference tomorrow. So that's the PBE podcast. And we didn't know that at first, man.
Nope.
He still had the mustache. We were just drinking. We were getting people's experience in the Permian Basin.
Mustache is back.
But what it turned into was incredible knowledge. What it turned into was this amazing amount of information for us as professionals. We started actually making discoveries. And tonight for this live show, without question, the Permian Basin is about to witness a step change in performance. The wells of the past, the performing wells of the past will look nothing like the future. I've said that for a long time as we've been figuring out the geology. There's a lot of questions. There's a step change coming. Kinfrac, I totally believe, is an engineering step change for the Permian Basin. It's where innovation is born. They came out. They want to do a live show with us. We can come to Midland and do this live. It was a no-brainer. This technology has to be put in place. We have to perform better. We have to drill less and perform better. I mean, just this group in front of us, man, we're so thankful to have you guys. We're so thankful to be here. We're honored to share this time with you. It's important to us. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Cannon is now joining us. He is a founder of what's called the Iron Freedom Foundation. And the Iron Freedom Foundation is a nonprofit for veterans, but it is a lot different. And he speaks way better than I do. Please, Will Cannon, tell us everything you want to tell us tonight about the Iron Freedom Foundation.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here. This is a great opportunity, and I can't thank y'all enough for y'all's friendship and camaraderie. But the Iron Freedom Foundation, there's 45,000 nonprofits for veterans in America. Wow. A ton. And a lot of them utilize the outdoors for therapy, for anxiety, depression, PTSD. And we decided that we wanted to start our own nonprofit, but we wanted to dive deeper into the science behind why is the outdoors so effective. And so through our research and interviews with authors and scientists and PhDs, we found out that, well, there's chemical imbalances in the brain that are affecting our veterans. Cortisone, oxytocin, estrogen, testosterone, all these different things are not right. And studies have proven and have shown that when you're in nature,
just next to some water, just in nature,
just being in water, but what's really cool about it is that these chemical imbalances start to right themselves after a few hours within nature. And when water is present, those chemical imbalances begin to right themselves even more by 30 to 40%.
I totally believe it, man. That's why we call it holy water.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we breathed it for 9 months. Without it, we die. If our food doesn't have it, they die. So
we're a water planet, man.
All right, yeah. So we found out that okay, we need to get these guys outside.
Yep.
And we need to put them there for a period of time, not just a weekend. We need to have a trip that's longer than a day or two, and at the end of the trip, which is a kayak fishing trip,
Man.
we outfit the guys with the kayak, the tent, sleeping bag, stove, you name it, everything they need to have to do the trip. And how we differentiate ourselves from everybody else, the other 45,000 nonprofits out there, is at the end of the trip, instead of sending them home with nothing more than an experience that they can't recreate on their own, while the nonprofit gets to post pictures on social media saying, look at us helping PTSD and look at us helping these veterans. Well, you took them fishing for a weekend. So what we do is at the end of the trip, about $4,000 worth of that gear per veteran goes home with them. We outfit them. Mm-hmm. It gives them the ability to recreate those types of events again.
Wow. Yeah.
With their own families.
So opposed to just, hey, come on this fishing trip. All right, now, go back to your life. They have the ability to be like, hey, if I want to go back to the Devil's River, if I want to go, X, Y, or Z, I can go back. I can recreate this experience. I can fish. I can do this on my own or with my buddies that I met on the trip.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, in my mind, how can we take a bunch of guys outside and show them a great time, a great experience, watch them start to feel the chemical imbalances in the brain begin to right themselves.
You
and
can
then
see
say,
it.
Oh, you can totally see it. Totally see it. And then I'm watching this and I go, okay, cool. Thank you for the pictures that I can post so I can get more money. Go home. Like, we can't do that.
Yeah, you got to give them the stuff.
We got to.
Wow.
You can't teach a man how to fish and feed him for a lifetime without giving him the proper tools to do so. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, dude. And not only is it just an idea, you guys been doing this. You guys now have the Whiskey River Distillery. That's where we were just at. I'm still working off the hangover of that
you
distillery.
and me both, brother.
I mean, that was a San Antonio, the distillery at the Devil's River. I mean, that place is awesome. It's got everything you need for a good time. And you guys presented them because they were a huge part of the story.
Yeah. They when we got our 501c3 status, we thought that the money was just going to roll in. We're a nonprofit. Give us your money.
That's all you need.
Not how it works. So our philosophy is, no board member takes a salary. We don't spend any money in marketing. So for the first 2 years, we were just calling buddies and friends and family, trying to raise money, and it just, it slowly trickled in. It just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And the owner of the Devil's River Whiskey Distillery showed up and wrote us a check for $30,000 and said, hey, make it happen. So
wow,
incredible.
Wow, man. So what's the latest news? Where are you guys going for 2021? I want to go on one of these trips. I've already told you that. I know I'm not a veteran. I know I'm probably close to drown in a freaking kayak. But I want to do it, man, because of two things. One, the Devil's River is the most preserved river in the country.
Yeah.
The state of Texas is actually doing something that's freaking amazing. They are protecting this river in a very serious way, not for science, for engineering, for hydrology, for what is going on with river systems and fresh water. And the Devil's River is making their whiskey from that, right?
Yeah. They tanker the water from the Devil's River to San Antonio to distill it. And, the state of Texas has it to where if it's a navigable waterway, it's public land, except for the Devil's River.
Wow.
You cannot camp. You can't camp on the banks. You have to find an island. They only allow 12 permits a day. The municipalities and a lot of counties, their standard for the water quality is off that river.
Wow.
They just had a big win in the Texas Senate last week about stopping wind farms being put up around there to maintain the tranquility and the beauty of the area.
Beautiful.
It's a great place, gorgeous place, and we're actually
a round of applause for that. A round of applause for that. I mean, I'm not against alternative energy, I'm not against alternative energy, but I am against a 20-year contract you give a farm person that doesn't really know what's going on with these contracts, and that you own that whole situation for 20 years or 30 years. Even if it's not spending and making energy, they write the contracts in their favor. And now I got this huge thing. I'm trying to kayak down this river, and I'm worried about this thing falling on me. I'm on it. That's how I feel when I drive by them. Yeah. That's the reality of it. I mean, so we're moving way too fast with the alternative energy. Texas is slowing it down. The Devil's River is a great advocate for that. It's a perfect example of what we need to do. This last year is just pump the brakes, man. Figure out what we do. What do we really got?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? What do we got? And then let's tighten our boots up and let's move forward with what we got. And you're a perfect example, again, of what I said was it's things that are needed that get those $30,000 checks.
Right.
The things that are needed are moving forward, and you are a perfect example of that, sir. And Iron Freedom Foundation, man, it's huge. I love it.
I appreciate that. And what's really cool about what y'all are doing and thinking outside the box and doing things differently, I mean, that's what we're doing. I mean, the fact that we're outfitting veterans, not just taking them fishing. And we're incorporating science on our end as well. And every trip, whether it's the Devil's River, if it's in California, wherever we go, every single body of water that we're taking these guys to, we're collecting water samples. We're going to begin to collect soil samples, and we're going to be analyzing these and collecting
the rocks, man. The science, the rocks.
The answer's in the rocks.
Exactly.
It's always in the rocks.
100%.
Another round of applause for the rocks.
Yeah, we wanna help preserve these areas, and we wanna, if we start collecting data over time, we hope that we can catch things that maybe there's a problem, and hopefully the Iron Freedom Foundation can be a part of the solution.
You're there, man. You're there. Just stay focused, stay motivated, man. I am support. I do not have finances to support you. I will be honest. But when I do, I will. And I will definitely provide my energy and prayers, honestly,
Appreciate
for
that,
what
brother.
you guys got going on when you see a veteran go from where he was to what is different, right? And that chemical change, that's incredible, man. Incredible. It's an honor to know you and to have shared this time with you. Thank you for your time.
Same here, brother.
Thank you, Will.
There you go. Come here.